The Digitech Whammy. A pedal that everyone should have in their collection and should treat with love and respect.
Oh shit!
An effects pedal that's been used on so many genres of music and by so many artists, both professional and amateur alike, throughout the years. It's a pedal that's brought to us by guitarists like Jack White, The Edge, Mikey Demus, Steve Vai, Josh Homme, Johnny Greenwood, Tom Morello, and of course Matt Bellamy. Is it any good? Is it worth getting? And will it finally complete my pedal board? Let's find out together if it's a good pedal and if it's worthwhile getting. As for if it will finally complete our pedal board, Mew and I both know that it won't. We're always on the lookout for more gear to satisfy our hunger for the next pedal. I mean, I recently bought this on a whim, and I don't even have a clear idea how I'm going to use all of the settings on it. But it sounds good. What more do you want? You can pitch your guitar signal up an octave or two, or if you're feeling adventurous, you can pitch it down as well. You can even harmonize if you can make it sound good. First produced back in 1989, it's enjoyed a long-lasting career over many incarnations to keep up with modern guitarists and technologies. With its first outing as the Whammy 1 through to the Whammy 5, each version has added more and more features to it. But what makes it so good? And what are we really getting from being able to shift it up an octave or two, or even down? Let's first look at the most obvious thing about the pedal. Having this on your pedal board will make you sound like Tom Morello, Matt Bellamy, Jack White, or indeed any other well-known whammy pedal user, won't it? In a way, yes, you'll be able to work towards recreating these sounds made famous by these guitarists. But surely it goes beyond just sounding a bit like your favourite guitarist, right? Let's look at what it can do to expand your playing and your sound overall. You can treat this as just a pitch shifting stomp box. You can have the treadle all the way down and rely on the on and off button for the desired effect. There's no expression, it's either just on or off. That simple change can offer some interesting opportunities, adding 2 octaves up to make it sound more like a synth, bring it down an octave to make your guitar sound more like a bass, or even play with some of those harmony settings and see the sounds that you can get from there. Add some whammy to a section of your music to change the character of that song. It can have a dramatic effect, as we can see here in an original piece of music I wrote with Sarah Basso. This simple method of using the whammy is great, just bringing these effects straight away in a simplistic fashion. We can call this the caveman or woman technique. There is of course the treadle itself, which will enable you to have a lot more control of the expression of these effects. You may wonder, well, what's the difference? Using the treadle won't add anything, as I want the whammy to make my guitar signal go up an octave. And to you, I say this. Let's look at the solo for Muse's Dead Star. Now there's 2 techniques you can use to play this. You can quickly turn the whammy on and off to bring in the octave up effect in and out straight away in a binary way. I must warn you, however, doing this for too long can hurt. Or you can use the treadle to quickly ramp up the pitch shifting effect. It's a subtle change, but using the treadle adds so much more expression to your playing, and as an added bonus, it will hurt your foot less. It'll really impact your playing and completely change how you play a song, or even how you'd write music if you are into being original. There is of course the harmonizer settings on the whammy. It's almost like having another guitarist to play alongside with you. The obvious advantage here is that you get your way all the time. Why waste time arguing over intervals when there's riffs and solos to be played? There's a great range of harmonies within the pedal itself, however, some knowledge of music theory would not go amiss when choosing what interval to use. Perhaps the hardest thing for me to describe about the Whammy is the detune settings. This is because I don't use these effects when I'm playing songs or indeed writing music. It's all down to the amount of control I can get over these sounds. With the Whammy being all about pitch, it achieves its detune sound by, wait for it, detuning your guitar signal. The big problem I have with this sound is the lack of control. All we have is the treadle, and that only affects how much the signal is detuned. Me being me, I much prefer more control over my modulation sounds, mix, depth, rate, and so on. I'd say the detune is the weakest part of the Whammy, but I could put that down to just how I use it, or more accurately, because I don't use it, and that I can get a better modulation sound elsewhere. So in conclusion, the Digitech Whammy, is it any good? Well, I've got one. I've had it on my pedal board for years, so you decide if I think it's any good. So what about the question of, will it improve my sound or my playing? Well, in a literal sense, no it won't. In the context of your playing, only you can control that. If you're willing to put the time and effort into practicing and honing your skill, you will improve. Taking that thought a step further with the pedal in mind, only with practice will you sound any good with it. Case in point is the harmonizer settings. Playing some melodies on certain harmonizer settings will sound terrible. You have to know what it's going to sound like ahead of time, and you can only achieve that by practice. So, for one last time, the Digitech Whammy. Is it any good? Well, it's only as good as you are. I've been Harry, and thanks for watching.